Once upon a time, there was a wise Zen master who lived in a small village. He was known for his simplicity and minimalistic lifestyle. He owned only a few possessions and lived in a small hut in the woods. One day, a wealthy merchant came to the village to seek the Zen master's advice. The merchant was unhappy despite his wealth and success. He felt burdened by his possessions and the constant need to acquire more. The Zen master listened patiently to the merchant's woes and then took him for a walk in the woods. As they walked, the Zen master pointed out the beauty of the trees, the birds, and the flowers. He showed the merchant how the simplest things in life could bring joy and contentment. As they continued their walk, the Zen master suddenly stopped and picked up a small rock. He held it up to the merchant and asked, "What do you see?" The merchant replied, "I see a rock." The Zen master smiled and said, "But do you see the millions of years it took for this rock to form? Do you see the countless forces of nature that shaped it into what it is today?" The merchant was struck by the Zen master's words and realized that he had been taking the world around him for granted. From that day on, he made a conscious effort to appreciate the beauty and complexity of even the smallest things in life. The merchant was amazed by the Zen master's wisdom and asked him how he could achieve such simplicity in his own life. The Zen master replied, "It is not about giving up everything you own, but about valuing what you have and living in the present moment." The merchant realized that he had been so focused on acquiring more possessions that he had forgotten to appreciate what he already had. He returned home and began to simplify his life. He sold many of his possessions and focused on the things that brought him true joy and happiness. As time passed, the merchant found that he was much happier and content with his life. He no longer felt burdened by his possessions and was able to enjoy the simple pleasures of life. The Zen master's lesson had taught him that the value of simplicity lies not in what we own, but in how we live our lives. By focusing on the present moment and valuing what we have, we can find true happiness and contentment. From that day on, the merchant became a disciple of the Zen master and lived a simple and minimalistic life. He found that the less he owned, the more he gained in terms of inner peace and happiness. As he continued to study under the Zen master, the merchant began to see the world in a new light. He realized that his previous obsession with material possessions had only brought him temporary happiness, and that true fulfillment came from within. He learned to let go of his attachment to material things and instead focus on cultivating meaningful relationships and experiences. Through meditation and mindfulness practices, he found a sense of inner peace that he had never known before. In the end, the Zen master's lesson had taught him that the true value of simplicity lies not in what we own, but in how we live our lives. By living in the present moment and valuing what we have, we can find true happiness and contentment.